Hi, this is Dr. Mark Kosman, and welcome to Business Spotlight Interviews again for another episode. And today we're speaking with Jay Gunderson, and Jay is the CEO of PrepareLink. Now, these are the guys that you want to talk to when it comes to getting your sales tax return ready to go over to the state. So, Jay, tell us a little bit about PrepareLink.
Hi, good morning, Dr. Mark. Thank you so much for having me. We manufacture and distribute sales tax preparation software. Primarily to tax professionals, but also to independent companies, those who want to prepare their own sales and use tax return. Right? We call it STP, that's Sales Tax Preparation Software. We release it by state. We've been doing this since 1998. We started with STP California and have been adding additional states as we find the demand. Okay, so just to summarize the value for STP, what the usage is, you look at our subscriber base, which falls into two categories. Those who print and mail their sales tax return with STP, and those who prepare and e-file their sales tax return with STP. Now, both groups of our subscribers have a very direct relationship to electronic filing. And in the one sense, print and mail, it's a kind of indirect competition with the state tax board electronic filing, in that the preparers are using that print and mail option that STP provides as an alternative to electronic filing. Many preparers prefer to mail in that return. They want the security, they want the privacy, and a lot of our independents want that privacy. And in addition, our tax professionals, they want to offer that option to their clients. Their clients may have similar concerns about security and privacy. So the other group, the prepare and e-file, is very much a partnership with electronic filing, in that preparers use STP to prepare their sales tax return in STP, then they'll print and have a copy on their desk, or they'll have it open in another window, and then they'll just transfer those prepared amounts directly into the electronic filing website. They do that because these websites lack the features that are necessary that preparers demand, and those features, give them the confidence that their sales tax return is accurate, it's complete, and it has the lowest possible sales tax due. The websites are very lean, they're very featureless. STP is packed full of these features, the guidance, the help, the step-by-step, the hand-holding, those sort of things that help preparers have the confidence that they need.
Great, Jay. Well, I appreciate you bringing up the whole issue of e-filing, because that's something I wanted to get into with you. I know there's a lot of confusion out there, actually, because I think people have the impression that they have to e-file their sales tax returns every month. And so that's not true, is it?
No, it is not true. We call that the e-file mandate myth. When the states moved away from their pre-printed sales tax form to their electronic filing websites, they pretty much left the impression with everybody that e-filing would be mandatory, that everybody would be required to use that website, and that's not the case. That's not the case at all. And that's because of what we call universal access.
Okay.
United States Postal Service provides universal access in the sense that everybody can mail in their sales and use tax return to the state tax board. Internet does not provide universal access, and until it does, every state has that print and mail option. Every state has a department, has staff that receives sales tax returns through the mail every month and enters them into their system. So that mandate, it really is a myth. Anybody can mail in their sales tax return.
Well, that's great, because I know I myself do prefer that. I mean, I like the ability to print that out and get that return receipt from the post office, so I have my evidence that, hey, look, I did my job. The rest is on you guys. And you also mentioned the issue with those website portals that the state set up, and that they're really kind of lean. And you told me something really that kind of shocked me about how few companies actually account for the majority of the sales tax that the states are collecting. So tell us a little bit more about that, because I think it helps explain why people who are more on the small business side of things are having such a struggle with dealing with those websites.
Right, that's how, when states invested and designed these e-filing websites, you got to look to what set their priority, because really only a few dozen companies provide over 90% of the sales tax revenue for any given state. Yet there's, hundreds of thousands of preparers and filers. In a couple states, there's over 1 million. So just a few dozen companies providing most of the revenue. They kind of had the priority in terms of design of some of these features that are or are not in the e-filing application. So,
right, and of course those guys don't need a whole lot of hand-holding or features because they've got a whole accounting department essentially that's taking care of this stuff. So if the states were catering to big companies like Walmart and things like that, then of course they didn't have to focus on the features that the end user like you and me are going to want to use. So what I love about what you've guys have created here is that so I can actually use your software to ensure that I've done my return completely and I've gotten I'm paying the least amount of tax that I have to by law. But then I can transfer those final numbers into that website and just plug them in knowing that I've got all the calculations right and I've got the backup that PrepareLink gives me. But I can then use the convenience of e-filing if I want to go that route. Or again, if you're like me and you're a little on the, I want to have my evidence kind of side of the equation, I can go to the post office, mail it out, and get my return receipt. So I have options when I work with you guys that I don't have if I go straight to the portals.
That's exactly right, Dr. Mark. If you're not in that few dozen huge companies, the giant retailers, and you're everybody else, you're tax professionals, you're CPAs, bookkeeping service providers, enrolled agents, or you're the independents, mom and pop businesses, small to medium-sized businesses who prefer to prepare and file their own sales and use tax return, everybody else. That's what STP is for. That's why we're here. And STP has all of the features that were pretty much left out of these websites.
And you also mentioned to me that this is really compatible in terms of the interface with people like me who use Quickbooks to do their accounting. So I'm going to recognize the PrepareLink process very smoothly if I'm a Quickbooks kind of person, right?
Exactly. Our designers are made up of tax professionals, QuickBooks gurus. Most of our design patterns are based off of QuickBooks. Once folks start to try out STP, they recognize it right away because pretty much everybody uses QuickBooks. We have a lot of those hand-holding, step-by-step features that QuickBooks would have. What we call EasyStep interview. You just answer the questions, click next, keep going, get to the end of the interview, and you have that fully prepared return. Or if you're an expert, a lot of tax professionals, they're instinctive about tax preparation. They don't want that guidance. So you skip the interview and you have the direct screens where they have these where STP has like an expert mode. So we pretty much accommodate everybody.
That's amazing. So basically, you cater both to me as the business owner if I'm not a professional tax preparer or an accountant, and I can get as much hand-holding as I want, as much tips and advice as I'm working through that version of the interface. But if I'm an old pro, even as a non-tax preparer, I can go that fast track. And if I'm a tax preparer, I can just go right to what I need to do. So that's cool. But I want to jump in and get people to understand something really amazing that shocked me when you shared it with me, which is how easy it is to test out PrepareLink and the STP process. So I got to double check this with you, Jay. You're offering a 120-day free download, and it's not even a demo. This is the full software. I can use it for an entire quarter. Is that right?
That's right. We've had that software evaluation, STP evaluation in place since day one, and everybody loves it. You go to the PrepareLink.com website, you download the software, install it. You can use it for a full quarter, plus that extra month for the due date. So that's, you can prepare 1/4 of your calendar's sales and use tax returns for free. And then, just to evaluate, take that test drive. At the end of 120 days, STP will prompt you to join our subscriber base. And most do, and if you do, what will happen is all your work you perform during the evaluation will carry forward as though you were a customer from day one. We relax that purchase decision, even though our price is so very, very small. Single company edition is $39, multi-company is $59, and tax professional is $79.
Well, and I got to jump in again, Jay, because you blew me away because I thought you were quoting me monthly numbers. I thought you were telling me $39 a month to use this, and I thought that was a perfectly reasonable price, since I have to deal with this sales tax return every month, and you're making my life easier. And you said no, that's not monthly, that's annually. So it's $39 for the year, right?
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. We've kept that price very low. We haven't had a price increase in over 10 years.
Wow.
As long as our subscriber base is large enough, which, we enjoy a 90% renewal rate, Dr. Mark.
Wow.
That's unheard of in tax preparation software business. Intuit's TurboTax cannot claim 90%. They spend tens of millions every year to gin up new customers, whereas STP every year over 90%.
That's an awesome statistic and an awesome testimonial from your customers. So, I mean, basically, again, I said to you before, we're in kind of no-brainer territory here. There's just absolutely no risk here. So people should go over to PrepareLink.com, download the full software, not a demo, have 120 days to test it out, prepare a couple of months worth of their sales tax returns, and then it's only $39 to $79, depending on which category you're falling into, for the entire year to keep going once you fall in love with it, and you will fall in love with it.
That's right,
but you also have a little bit of a demo to show us here, a little clip of a demo. We've got the full demo on your website, but take us through this quick little demo here.
Yeah. Okay. Now I brought a short clip. This is just a few seconds from the demo of STP California. It shows a preparer entering, gross sales for a very simple one-location sales tax return, typical of most sales tax returns, and then clicking Government View and highlighting 3 of the most commonly fussed over line items in a sales tax return. Those are, gross sales, sales tax included in gross sales, and sales tax due. This just shows you how instantaneous and how easy it is for STP to help you do some of this work.
Excellent, and that's perfect. And so the full demo is right over there on PrepareLink.com. But as I said before, I mean, you shouldn't even take the time to watch the demo. You should just download the software, take it out for this 120-day test drive. You're going to fall in love with it, and then for an incredibly reasonable annual fee, you're going to get rid of all the headaches you've been having when you've been fighting with the state portals that just don't give you enough guidance and enough security that you're doing it right and that you're actually paying the least amount of tax that you're required to by law. So, Jay, I got to say, you guys are making a killer offer here. I think people should take advantage of it. And thanks for being my guest here today on Business Spotlight Interviews.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Dr. Mark. Thank you.